Hello everybody, this is Elaina Love, and I have a guest today, Steve Factor from Pure Energy Factor. He's new to raw food, so he's the perfect guest because he's going to be asking me some questions about what I'm doing. And today is our Valentine's special holiday, or special, I guess it's a holiday, our special, and we have some heart molds, and I'm going to make some little kind of brownie canned chocolates with carrot powder, and show you how to make a really quick and easy holiday Valentine's treat for your loved ones, okay? So, we're going to get started. This recipe can actually be found in my recipe book, Elaina's Pure Joy Kitchen, Book 1. And it's one of my favorite brownies. I've taught this all over the world. Living Light Culinary Arts Institute teaches it there. I teach it in my Culinary Academy. And I thought, well, this is a perfect day to teach it, but I'm going to do a few twists on it, because you kind of get tired after a while of doing the same old thing. So it's always fun to mix it up. And I'm really into the omega-3 oils. I've got a new book out called Raw and Beyond, and it's really focused on the omega-3s and how good it is for our brain and that fat. So we're going to start with some walnuts. And you were asking me questions like about why I'm using walnuts earlier.
Yeah, and you answered it saying that they're higher in 3s than the 6s like the other nuts are.
Right.
And that's, now I get it. I know how important 3s are.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these are walnuts. Actually, if you look at them close up, they kind of look like the hemispheres of your brain.
Mm-hmm.
So we can a lot of times take our cues from food that they represent things that are good for us in our bodies. So if you eat this, it's brain food. It's high in omega-3s, which is good for our brain. So I'm going to start out by maybe putting like 2 cups of walnuts in the bottom of my food processor. This is a Cuisinart food processor. And I'm going to turn it on and let it turn into a nice flour. Okay, and this is going to be like our flour substance. Okay. Once we get it nice and floured up, it doesn't take long. You see that? It's like a nice, I'll show the camera here, you guys up there and you guys here. Once we get into a nice flour, we can start adding our other ingredients. Now I always like to add a little salt, and the reason we add salt, do you know why we add salt to something?
No, maybe because it preserves it?
Well, it might preserve it, and it also, this is a pink salt, a high mineral Himalayan pink salt. It makes things taste sweeter, so you don't have to add as much sweetness to something. So it's a really great way. What my whole focus is on low glycemic, so I teach people that have cancer and diabetes how they can have really healthy foods that aren't going to spike their blood sugar. So I usually try and add a little salt to help bring out the flavor before I add too much sweetness. Like, I really don't use agave at all. I like to go for either whole foods like dates, which is I know what you really love, or this is a xylitol sweetener, which is from birch bark. So it's made from a birch bark from the tree of a birch tree. The bark of a birch tree is what I'm trying to say. Tongue twister. And what they do is it is processed and it is a cooked food, so this isn't a 100% raw recipe. But I like this because it doesn't spike the blood sugar, and it kind of bypasses the digestive tract so that you're not getting that sugar load, but you still get the sweet taste. And you do get benefits from it because, as we know, xylitol is really great for the teeth. It helps prevent cavities, and it's naturally occurring in the body, so it's actually a naturally occurring substance already. So you can use either xylitol in there or dates. If you're going to do dates, I would measure about half a cup of dates. And this is my little handy dandy magic wonder cup. And this fun, look, it has all the measurements on it. You can do tablespoons, cups, teaspoons. So I would take, these are your nice fresh dates that you brought over. And we took the pits out. What kind of dates are these?
Medjool.
Medjools.
Yeah.
You love these, huh?
The king of the dates.
Yeah. So we've got about a half a cup pressed in there. And then that way I can just pop it out. If I'm going to use dates, I will put dates in there. If I'm going to use xylitol, I'll put about the same amount, about a half a cup of powdered xylitol. And you can make it, sweeten it to taste. Another great sweetener that's a sugar substitute is stevia, and it helps to lower the blood sugar actually, so really great for those people who have, if you get a lot of mood swings or you feel really short-tempered when you don't eat, that's because you have blood sugar issues, or if you get bloated a lot, or you have fungus on your toes, have cancer, or have had cancer, or tendencies towards diabetes. Those are all things that you really need to watch your sugar intake. So we're going to put a couple drops of stevia in there. This is 200 times sweeter than sugar. Great for teas and coffees and whatever, your brownies, your candies.
So I have a question. Usually I notice stevia is in the little packets in powder form, and this is the first time I've ever seen it in drop or liquid form.
Yeah, that's a good question. This is a company called Stevia. It's just Stevia brand Stevia. Really great company. The liquid is great because if I put it, not so much in this brownie, but if I were to put it in my tea, and I had the powder, it kind of clumps together. And this has a really, no bitter aftertaste. It doesn't have that stevia taste that a lot of people don't like.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
So
this is the best tasting one I found. Now, speaking of lowering your blood sugar, another really great one is cinnamon. For people that are trying to lose weight or just don't want to eat as much, putting a little cinnamon in there is great because it helps to balance the blood sugar. And you could also add something like cardamom. It really just depends on what direction you want to go. I can put some nutmeg, but we're just going to go with cinnamon and vanilla today. I have some vanilla essence by a company called Medicine Flower. Put some drops. Let's just show a close-up of this. Medicine Flower. We go up there. I got two cameras going here today.
So now I've seen vanilla beans, and you scoop it out with a spoon. And then I see that. What do you like and why?
Well, I love vanilla beans, the whole vanilla bean that you can scoop out with a spoon. It's not always convenient, and what my whole message is to teach quick and easy recipes so you're not in the kitchen all day. Like, how can I just whip something up? If you have your vanilla essence, which is a completely natural product, doesn't have alcohol or glycerin in it, it's concentrated vanilla. Just a couple drops of that is going to be your vanilla flavor. But if you chop up a vanilla bean and throw it in your blender with a smoothie or a chocolate sauce, that's when I'll use vanilla bean. For something like this, I think I'm going to get more flavor out of this essence.
Got it.
So that's why I use that. Okay, the other thing I'm going to add in for a binder, because I'm not using the dates, which would normally be a binder, ground chia seeds. And this will add a little darkness too. I probably just put a couple tablespoons. You don't need much chia. We have a lot here, and I can use it for binders in different things. It's great for binding breads or candies or brownies. Super high in omega-3s again, so another love affair I have with that. What else have I got over here? I've got carrot powder, or cacao powder. So we'll add a little cacao, but I really want to do the carob today. Now, what's the difference between carob and cacao? Do you know the difference?
Two different trees or plants, and the cacao has caffeine and the carob doesn't.
That's right.
Okay.
And a couple other differences is the cacao is a bean that grows on a tree, it's in a pod, whereas the carob is like a mesquite pod. Have you ever seen mesquite pods?
No.
Well, they grow in this long pod with seeds in the middle, and they're kind of thin and long, and you harvest it by just taking the middle seeds out, and then you grind it, and I just ground it down into a nice flour. It's dried carob that's been ground into a flour here, if you can see it. It smells heavenly. It's kind of got a sweet, that sweet, and I think it's also great for lowering the blood sugar. It's a good sugar balancer.
Okay.
And I like it because cacao is bitter, like you said, and this is sweet, naturally sweet, no sugar in it. So I like the flavor, and combining the two is it makes a beautiful combination. So I would say about a cup of carob or cacao powder or a combination.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of eyeballing it here today.
And by the way, this smells really good. You can't tell on camera, but I'm just getting all of the fumes coming into my nose, and it's awesome.
Yeah. And another thing I'm going to do, just to add a little more fattiness, richness, because this is kind of like a Valentine's candy, is a little coconut oil. And what that'll also do is help kind of congeal it all and bind it all together, which is great. So about 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. Do you know a lot about coconut oil and its health benefits?
I don't know a lot. I know a little bit, but let's hear it from you. Let's go straight to the source.
So coconut oil, what I love about coconut oil is, yes, it's a fat, and yes, if you eat too much, you will gain weight. But if you take coconut oil and switch out any other fat you're using right now, if you're cooking your food, maybe you're still steaming or sauteing vegetables, and you put coconut oil instead of other oils, especially you should never heat up olive oil or a lot of those fats. They're very bad. This is a great substitute, and people start dropping weight immediately just by switching their fats. It also pulls bad fats out of the body. So when you consume coconut, it will go in and find those old cholesterol-y fats and the fats that your body doesn't want or need, and it just helps it to release, because like attracts like. So it's really beautiful, and it's a short-chain fatty acid, so it's different than the long-chain fatty acids. It actually is good brain food, good for your skin on the outside too. There's a lot of really amazing health benefits. Antifungal, antiviral, anti-cancer, anti-candida. Super, just if it's a really good fat to have around.
Excellent.
And what I like is that it's solid. when it's refrigerated, it gets solid, so it makes great candies. Okay, I think we're ready to process. It looks like we used everything that we have out.
Okay.
So I always check. Put everything out first. This is called mise en place. Then you just make sure you use everything that you got out. Okay, we're going to turn it on. We're going to let it go until it turns into a brownie.
Nice.
I like how the smoke comes up.
So good.
Yeah. So while we're letting that run for a minute, I'm just going to shake it, make sure it's mixing up really nicely. And then I've got a couple shapes of my little hearts here. I've got these are a little deeper, and these are kind of bigger and wider. And these will be really fun for putting the brownies into, and then we can just pop it out, and it'll be more like a candy when it sets up later.
Let's see.
And maybe you can help me with this part, so you want to do the press it in. Now, what I've got here, it hasn't been going very long, but it's starting to kind of get solid. We're going to go a little longer. And what I might do on this one, since we're going into candy mold, is I might put a little bit of the soaked chia seeds in. Do you mind grabbing that bowl?
Sure.
So I've got some soaked chia seeds here, and this will just add a little bit of moisture. But I'm not going to add much. Oh, see, it's starting to kind of form into a ball. That's what we're looking for. Okay, that's what you're looking for. Because when it does that, it's really going to stick into the brownie batter, into the candy dish. Okay, so then if I press it, I can see, okay, it's going to hold its shape. That's what I'm looking for. When it's refrigerated, it's going to be nice and solid. We just want to taste it to make sure we're happy with it. Very sweet. It's pretty sweet, but it's like a candy. I mean, you don't need to eat much of it, right?
When I think of this, sometimes when I have food like this and I say, what am I missing on the raw vegan diet?
Right.
I'm missing what?
Yeah.
It's
pretty awesome.
It's as good as it gets.
I'm just going to add a little more chia because it's a tiny bit too sweet for me. Do you think it's a little sweet on the sweet side, or you like it?
I like sugar.
Yeah, you just ate a bunch of dates, so just a little more. Shake it, shake it, shake it. And then let's go ahead and we're just going to take our little balls and we'll just, I think you can see right here what I'm doing. If you want to help me, Steve.
Sure.
Just press them right into these hearts.
Okay.
Here, let me give you a little handful of this. And you can just press them right into the tray. And then what we'll do once they're set up, we'll pause the video for a minute and we'll let them set up, and then we'll show you what they look like after they've gotten solid. So while we're doing this, do you have any questions or comments?
No. Can we get the recipe for this? So.
Well, I did say it out loud as I was going.
Okay.
So, but I can give it to you, and you can put it in there. How about questions from the audience? We have a live studio audience today. Anybody out there have questions or comments?
No, I can't give you.
Okay. Good. Well, we must have covered it pretty well then.
This is awesome.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to fill these little hearts up, and we'll pause the video for a minute. We'll come back when they're solid. All right, so here we are. We've got the hearts. They've just been in the freezer for what, you guys? 5-10 minutes?
Yeah.
Not long.
No.
I felt them. They're already hard on top. See that, Steve? Good, nice and firm. Yeah.
Ooh.
So now what we're going to do, we've got a cute little white plate here. We're going to just pop them right out onto the plate. Look at how easy they come out. Isn't that great? And I've got a tray of love. A love tray.
Awesome.
Yeah. So look at that. Fun, huh?
Beautiful.
All right, should we eat one together on camera? How about you guys come on in? Let's all eat chocolate hearts. Everybody's been waiting to eat them. Get in here. Okay. Thank you. Have a happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Happy Valentines!
Join us again soon for Reina's amazing. What are you gonna call it? What are you
Valentino.
A Valentino. So that's up next.
These are so
Oh my
good.
gosh. More.
So good.
More.
One more. One more. Oh my god.